Hi everyone, it's Leilani. Welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be working again in my reading journal, and we're going to document all of the things that I read in the month of September. So first off, I'm using this beautiful Archer and Olive notebook that I absolutely love. It's really been a great thing to use for this reading journal throughout this year. And the first thing that I always document is what I read on this kind of like overview page, which I think is looking really cute now that we're getting kind of into the end of the year. Of course, I'm almost done with this page, so I'm definitely going to have to add like a little flip out or something, which I was prepared for when I started this album. I started it in February and I really wasn't sure how much I was going to be reading or, how long I was going to be updating this. And I didn't know how many pages I would really need for something like that. So I had a feeling that I might need to add like a little flip out or something as the year continued. So we will probably do that in the next video. So then you saw that I put my favorite book of the month, which was Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. So I just popped that right on. So I have the sizes. So for those really small photos in the first spread, I typically print those off at a 0.7 by 1.1. So on my printer, I'm able to just do like custom sizes. So I always choose that size. And then for my favorite of the month, I do 1.2 by 2. And those pretty much work for me. And then I always do my book shelfie. So these are printables, and I will definitely link these printables below if you're interested. I really loved not having to stamp or draw out all the books and all of the cute little plants and stuff on the shelves myself. So I always just do a color-coded system where the pink books are the physical books I read, yellow are Kindle, and blue are audio. So I listen to a lot of audiobooks. So I love getting that part done. And then we move on to the monthly spread, which is always fun to kind of put everything into each individual month and kind of see what all you read that much. And I love doing the ratings on this section. So as always, I grab the Honey and Spice stamp set from Heidi Swapp, and I use that to stamp out my month and then write stats underneath it. So I just kind of vary what color I use. I'm using a Catherine Pooler ink set that has a lot of kind of more pastels and light colors. So I typically just go with that, and then I outline them. This time I noticed that I think I was outlining in a little bit of a thinner pen. I doubt anyone else can tell, but I could kind of tell, but I just went with it. So I outline that, and then I always draw 3 little boxes underneath there. I'm not super particular about that. I think my boxes are about 6 little dots across and 6 dots down, but I definitely have done months where I've accidentally made them smaller or bigger, but things like that don't really bother me too much. And you'll notice I just kind of freehand it because the dots are there and I don't use a ruler or anything like that. So I always do these 3 boxes, and then those will be audio, Kindle, and physical again. So next year, I might have mentioned this in a different video, but I think next year, whenever I do my bookshelfie page, the color coordination is going to be from 1 to 5 stars instead of like the Kindle books or the physical books or the audio books. Now, I really love documenting that here on this monthly page, but I don't think I need it twice in the album. So I think that will be a little more fun. So then I always choose a color of label tape, and I use my Dymo label maker that I just grabbed off of Amazon, and I add in fave, least favorite, and pages, the page number. Also, next year, I'm probably going to rethink that as well, because I definitely always have a favorite book of the month, but the least favorite, sometimes that's hard because sometimes I read all books that I really like, and it's kind of hard to choose like a least favorite or one that I want to point out as being particularly bad. Out of the whole year, I've only read maybe 1 or 2 that I just did not like at all. The majority of the books I do typically enjoy. So then over here, I always do my book covers of the entire month. So these I print off as a 1" by 1.5. So I love this size, and I just kind of put them in some sort of configuration. I think I went down about 5 dots from the top, and I put them in some sort of configuration depending on how many books I read this month. So this month I consumed 9 books. So I'll tell you a little bit about them. So I read some thrillers that I really loved this month. So Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney I thought was great. I think I gave it 5 stars. Also, The Last Housewife by Ashley Winstead I thought was really good. I think that's a newer release, and it kept me entertained the entire time. So I gave that one 5 stars as well. And then also, like I said before, I read Daisy Darker, which is the newer book from Alice Feeney, and I thought that one was really good as well, gave it 5 stars. So I always love whenever I find a 5-star thriller, but I'm not that particular. I'm not one that's like trying to solve the mystery the entire time, so I am typically pretty surprised by the outcome. And also, as long as it has some twists and turns and kind of keeps me entertained, that's really all that I'm looking for. So I enjoyed all of them, but Daisy Darker in particular was a story that's kind of a retelling of Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None. So that kind of typical story of, in this one, there's a family that's coming together for their Nana's 80th birthday, and then Nana dies, and then other family members start to drop after that, typical like And Then There Were None. But I thought that there were some great twists and turns at the end, and I just really liked the story in general. So 5 stars. I also read 2 graphic novels this month, Fly By Night and Squad. Fly By Night I thought was good, but I only gave it 3 stars. It wasn't really groundbreaking for me, but I loved Squad. The illustrations alone were so beautiful, and I thought it was a really fun, quirky, weird story about the popular girls that turn into werewolves. So I thought that was really fun as well. Besides that, I read 3 cozy mysteries. Shady Hollow, which was the book for our book club, the Cozy Mystery Book Club over on Patreon, and that one was so good. Everyone seemed to really love it, and it's actually a story where all of the characters are animals, so it was really fun. And then I read Dewey Decimated, which is the last one in the Haunted Library mysteries that I have been reading for several months now. And then I actually tried a Joanne Fluke book, The Chocolate Chip Cookie Murder, which is the first one. And besides that, Love in the Time of Serial Killers was kind of a quirky romance that I read as well that I enjoyed. So then over on the stats page, there were 6 audiobooks, 0 ebooks, and 3 physicals. My favorite, like I said, was Daisy Darker. And my least favorite, this is where it was hard because I didn't really not like any of them, but I went with The Chocolate Chip Cookie Murder. Now I say that even though I am now listening to the second one, I think it's like The Strawberry Shortcake Murder or something. So I am listening to the next one in this series. I've been able to get these books off of the Libby app. So that's another reason why I listened to a lot of audiobooks this month from Audible and from Libby. But I gave it 3 stars because although it's a nice little cozy mystery, it was written in like 2000 or 2001, and a little bit of it is outdated, including a lot of fat phobia that I didn't appreciate at all. So that had to knock it down some pegs, definitely. So I'm hoping that we're going to grow and get a little better with that, and we'll see if I continue the series or not. So then we move on to the review section. So this one I'm just really like loosey-goosey with. If there are books that I want to write a little review on, I'll pop it over here. There's no requirements. It's just for fun. But if there's a book that I particularly liked or particularly had something I wanted to say about it, I'll type up a little bit of journaling on my computer and print off these book covers and put them over here. So these book covers, along with the next one that you'll see for the book club, those are printed off as a 1.2 by 1.8. So I wanted to talk about both of the Alice Feeney books, Rock, Paper, Scissors, and Daisy Darker. So Rock, Paper, Scissors I thought was also really good. It's basically about a couple. I think their names are Adam and Amelia, and they're a married couple. The husband is like a workaholic and he has face blindness, so he can't recognize like features on people's faces, which is really strange. And basically their marriage is kind of going downhill. They're about to celebrate 10 years and they are going on a trip to Scotland to this kind of old like Gothic house kind of thing where they are trying to rekindle their marriage, but there's a lot of lies, a lot of twists and turns. It is really good, I thought. So I super enjoyed that book as well. Also, I'm just getting into really constant book reading. So a lot of the tropes that people may think are played out, they're still really fun for me. So I really enjoy just like, I'm pretty pleased with most thrillers unless they're just absolutely no thrills happening. I pretty much like them. So then you'll notice that I did pop in the book club book of the month. So we added Shady Hollow in the September spot. So that was fun as well. We started the book club in June and we've read 4 books and I think that they have been so fun. So every month over on Patreon, I announce the book of the month. And then we have basically all month to read it. And then at the end of the month, typically around the last weekend of the month, anyone who wants to gets together. We have a Zoom call. We have some questions that we chat about, and it's just always fun, low key, just like chit chatting with friends about the book. And it's been really fun. I always do a giveaway every month, and I have some little freebies like stickers and bookmarks and things like that that you get during your first Zoom meeting. So it's just a really fun thing to do over there. So that's available at all tiers as well. Even the $5 tier, you can join the book club. So then at the end of my album, this is kind of the last thing that I always do every month. I like to document what book we read and a little bit about the meeting and all that kind of good stuff. So I always take a photo of myself with the book, like a landscape photo, and then I print that off as a 3x4, stamped out the month at the top. And then I always add in with my label maker thoughts and meeting. So the thoughts are just my general kind of overview thoughts of the book. And then I typically write a few things down in the meeting, like if everyone seemed to like the book or if, it was 50-50, what some of the highlights of the meeting are. And I typically stamp how many people were in attendance at the meeting as well. Then on the right side, I always print off this little question printable thingy that I always put up on Patreon. So this is just like kind of something for us to go by during the meeting so that we know what questions we're going to talk about and kind of like conversation starters about the book. So I always just print it off and write in my answers here for a little more of a lengthy description of the book club book. So for this one, I definitely gave it 5 out of 5 for coziness. I thought that this was such a cozy, cute book, and I gave it 4 stars all around, but I really, really loved it. So then I'm just going to give you a quick overview of what we worked on today. I did not speed this part up so you can kind of see it a little bit better, but I just really love documenting all the books that I read or consume throughout the month, and I hope that y'all are enjoying these process videos. So I'm really glad that I decided to start to film them for you guys because I think it's really fun to kind of chat about the books and get book recommendations and ideas every month as well. So I hope that y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a like and please consider subscribing, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye, y'all.